Hey you all, my name's Adam Conrod. I am one of the original fans of the Dukes of Hazzard. You guys see me in many Dukes of Hazzard fan films in the past, and you see me sing the theme song to the Dukes of Hazzard. And a fan posted a video on YouTube about things of the Dukes of Hazzard. It was good, but it was shady at the same time. How some episodes were overtaken with comedy that was a bit foolish, didn't make much sense. And I said to myself, since I'm one of the original fans of the Dukes of Hazzard, why not talk about what wasn't my favorite episode and why, and what was my favorite episode and why? And let's start with my least favorite episode, why that I felt was the worst ever. That the producers of the Dukes of Hazzard could have came up with a better storyline idea for a better episode. That would have been this here, Strange Visitor to Hazzard County. The alien in the seventh season on the Dukes of Hazzard. That to me had been the absolute worst episode that they had ever done. An alien. The Dukes of Hazzard is about how great the general is, how fast a car can go. The Dukes of Hazzard is about love versus greed, family morals. Here we are putting all that aside. Let's focus on an alien. Pretty silly. Is there aliens in our universe? Probably. Have an alien on an episode of the Dukes of Hazzard? I don't think it was a good idea. Did just not just not part of the show. Comedy was there, but an alien, no. So the alien episode during the seventh season of the Dukes of Hazzard had been the absolute worst episode that they had ever done. Now, the comedy of the show. Jamie Bass, Sora Bulk, the best comedian actors that they could ever hire. Did a great job of finding those two great actors to play those part Boss Hogg and Roscoe, because those two characters, Boss Hogg and Roscoe, brought a lot of comedy to the show. Worked. But when it came to the Roscoe and Rick Hurst, the comedy between them, it was good, but it got too silly. You know, you'll see Rick Hurst driving on his police car through a wood mill. The saw cuts the police cruiser in half. You know, and I know that can't happen. And if it did happen, you would never survive it anyways because you'd be dead. That's a little overtaken with the comedy. They're trying well. They meant well. They did. And the other silliness with the Dukes of Hazzard was a bit overboard was let's go back to Rick Hurst. Look at the foolishness. They're so dumb. Their characters they played that they're so dumb. Then their characters to be law enforcement. It actually makes the actor, the character, be so mentally incapable of that they're not capable of doing their jobs as a law enforcement officer. We all know that no police officer in real life is that dumb, and that was part of the comedy with the Dukes of Hazzard that was overtaken. Sonny Schroyer, Sonny Schroyer, actually he's one of the oldest remaining cast members alive. He's 80 some years old, believe it or not. I like Sonny Schroyer. I mean, his show Enos didn't do that well. He only had one season. They canceled. He came back to the Dukes of Hazzard after that was canceled, and I like the guy. And my favorite episode of the Dukes of Hazzard. That wouldn't. It's hard. There's a lot of episodes I like. Happy Birthday, generally. All right, I like that episode. That's one of my favorites. Explains how the Dukes came across the generally, how the generally became being. But when their remake movie of the Dukes of Hazzard came along, they sort of changed that storyline. Me, as original fan of the show, you know, we all know that the generally was not found at the bottom of a brook. It was found in a junkyard. Bo and Luke almost got in a wreck with a wreck while they were towing the generally in the tow truck, Cooter's tow truck, to the farm to build the generally. I like that storyline, and they should have stuck with it. When they redid the Dukes of Hazzard, they changed that storyline on how they found the generally. It wasn't realistic. It was too, I don't know. just should have been part of the Dukes of Hazzard when they rebooted that show. Just no. But the Dukes of Hazzard was a good show. It really was. John Schneider was asked, "Do you think the Dukes of Hazzard could survive in today's world if they were to bring it back on the air?" John Schneider said no. I'd say he's right, but it can be done if they find the right people who's willing to put the time and effort behind it to make it happen. And there's also good things that can come out of that reboots idea also. The controversy over this here, the Confederate flag. What else can the Dukes of Hazzard use besides the Confederate flag? We know why to use a Confederate flag because it's a Southern show, so let's use a Confederate flag. But the wrong people gained access to it and used that flag for the wrong reasons, and because of it, they had to take the flag down from Capitol Hill in the United States, and they had to do away with it. I didn't support it, but really, that's why there has to be national laws in place protecting national heritage flags from hate groups. If there was federal laws in place protecting these national flags, if they're caught using it for the wrong reasons, charged. Absolutely, charge them. For the Dukes of Hazzard to be caught up in that controversy, taking the show off the air, taking their merchandise off the market, I don't support that. It's just no. There's a lot of people that like that show, and you know what drove the people into the show? It was the car. Do you know why the generally was so successful? It was the color of the car, orange. The color orange caught everybody's attention psychologically. It's going to get the fans' attention psychologically. And the number of the car, number one, and the flag on top. It was bright, it was colorful, it was pretty. That's why it was successful. You look at other TV shows like Fall Guy, people will remember the truck that Lee Majors drove, but it didn't stand out like the General Lee. Why? Because of the color of the car and the decorations on the car that stood out, and that's why the General Lee is successful. Knight Rider, Kit the Car, generally still stands out a lot brighter and stronger than Kit the Car because of the color of the car. It gets your attention psychologically. The number, 01, the flag, psychological work, what they were doing. And that's why the General Lee was successful. Still is. Can they redo another show of the Dukes of Hazzard? I say yes. The casting got to be done right. You just don't throw somebody in like they did with the Dukes of Hazzard reboot movie. If I was Warner Brothers, the producers of Warner Brothers, I would not allow the director who did the Dukes of Hazzard reboot do the reboot of the Dukes of Hazzard in the TV series. I wouldn't let him come around the show at all. And I felt there was no effort into it. I mean, the actors, it meant well, but I mean, I remember when one of the actors went to John Schneider after the Dukes of Hazzard reboot was put in the movie theaters. They apologized to John Schneider. And, when I looked at the Dukes of Hazzard reboot, you see anything wrong with it? They got the Dukes as moonshiners. Bo, Luke, and Uncle Jesse were never moonshiners. They were former moonshiners. And then you got Willie Nelson playing Uncle Jesse smoking weed, pot. Uncle Jesse, the character Uncle Jesse, or the characters, the family of the Dukes never smoked pot neither. Other problem. And then the character Boss Hogg, Burt Reynolds, no. Why? He didn't fit the part because everybody recognized him from Smoking the Bandit. He's the bandit. Bo, the bandit. And then when you look at the Smoking the Bandit, the character Bo, that's where the Dukes of Hazzard got the character for John Schneider. Bo Duke, Smoking the Bandit. Snowman for Smoking the Bandit. The dog Cletus, that's where the character Rick Hurst, the actor Rick Hurst, got his name, Cletus. A lot of similarities there. And actually, some of the actors from the Dukes of Hazzard wasn't Smoking the Bandit, like Ben Jones. Around the first of the movie, you'll see a bunch of people standing around a couple tractor trailers talking. One of those people standing there talking with a beard is Ben Jones, Cooter. Now, if John Schneider was here, what would I say? I agree with what he has to say with the Dukes of Hazzard reboot may not be able to work, but I believe it can if time and effort is put into it. Look for another flag besides the Confederate flag and ask themselves what is a national symbol that's Southern that can replace the Confederate flag. Anyways, I'm Adam Conrod, and I thank you for watching my Dukes of Hazzard fan film.